Hey, it's me, Katie. Today I'm going to go into two homes that have been on the market for a long time, and I'm going to explain to you why I think they're still on the market. Now, I have not really gone through these. I don't really know much. This is going to kind of be an insight with you as we are doing this together, but I know you guys like when I kind of go through these, I talk about what's good, what's bad, because I know it's going to help you as you get your home ready to sell and put it on the market. So let's get into it. So the first house we're going to look at has been on the market for 638 days. Yeah, you heard me right. 2 years. I mean, that is painful, very, very painful. And whenever I talk to sellers and their homes have been on the market that long, I really, really feel for them. But you know, a lot of sellers need to start taking ownership of what they need, what they want. And they can't just be blaming the agent on these types of things. So let me show you this home. Okay, so when I'm first looking at this house, I see that it's $990,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that's really 1,500 square feet. I mean, that is a lot of money for that type of a house. So I don't really know this area, but I'm going to dig in just the way that you can dig in your own area and just basically using Zillow to figure out, is this house priced in range? Now, that's a lot of money for this tiny house. So let me just kind of look through the pictures here. So, I mean, the photos look okay. You can see that this is kind of a spring shot, which right now we're really more in winter. So I know that this photo was taken at a time when it was different weather. And you can tell that by the tulips in the pot there. I mean, those might be fake, but you can tell that this kind of is a spring shot. So when I'm talking to people about keeping their homes on the market for a long time, if it's the winter and your home has been on the market since the summer, you need to reshoot those front photos because it's going to show the viewer that your home has been on the market a long time. That's why it's really, really important to be using season-dependent pictures as your front pictures. So this is definitely a spring shot, so I can tell that it's been on the market a long time. Now, the first thing I'm seeing here, which I don't know if you noticed, but look, there are Christmas lights on this house. So anybody who has Christmas lights on their house going into spring and summer, especially when they're getting their home ready to sell, that's a problem. That's like a red flag for me that they don't take care of their house very well. I mean, that's like the same thing as deferred maintenance, or maybe they've left it up all year for ease, but that is not a good look when you're going to sell your home. Take off the Christmas lights, especially if you're in the spring. Okay, so what I'm seeing is it's a little house. It's not very big. It's been pretty much rehabbed on the inside, but this isn't like a builder grade flip because you can see there's a lot of stuff on the counters that means that somebody is living there. I mean, look at these bottles right down there. I mean, for photos, you would think that an agent would just move those out of the pictures. So this means to me that they're not really serious about selling this house because they haven't prepped the house the way that it really needs to be for pictures. I mean, this is just your average kind of home. That might be staged furniture right there. I'm not quite sure. You know, they've got a lot of flowers there. I don't know what's up with these flowers, but typically people don't really live with flowers like that. So I'm going to guess that those might be fake as well. Another thing for this photo shoot, they have a fan here. When you've got fans or things like that in the house, if you've got a heater in an area or a fan in an area, it definitely raises flags to me that the ventilation is not great. So if you have something like that, you want to make sure that you remove that for photos and for showings as well. It just kind of raises red flags. Now, you may be totally fine. You may say that the ventilation is fine, but that's what I'm saying is that's what buyers are kind of looking at is that, you know, what's going on that they need a fan in this room. I mean, that's like, what's up with the flowers? I don't really get that. That is just a little much. Bedroom's okay. Now you see this cross up here. So this means that it's, you know, maybe a religious family. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You really need to take down any type of personalization in your home because you don't know who's going to be coming into your home and you want them to feel like it's their home. So, I mean, that's not a big deal. It's not bad. And if one of my clients wanted to keep it up, I'd say that's fine. But just as you're thinking about it, you want to make sure that you're removing as much religious personal things because you want them to feel like this is their home when they walk into it. Okay, so now that, now this is fine. This is kind of fine as well. This is fine. I mean, the house looks okay. The colors are okay. I mean, they only have 18 pictures. So, I mean, all of this is okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of dig into it a little bit because this house has been on the market for almost 2 years. And that price, $990,000 for this house seems really, really high. But again, I don't really know this area. So let me just do a quick calculation. So 990,000 divided by 1516 is $653 a square foot. Now, I don't really go a lot on what square footage prices are. I mean, I use them, but like I don't think there's any single way that an appraiser is going to appraise out this house at $653 a square foot. So now this house is in the Chicagoland area, so I have a little more access to the back end MLS, but I'm going to show you just going into Zillow to see how you can do this. And then I'm going to give you a little bit more insight as I go into my MLS and take a look at this. So first what I go through is I kind of look to see what the other houses are that Zillow says are comparables. And it's going to say these are the nearby homes that are comparables. Now you can see that one is 7 million, one is 1 million, 2 million. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is probably a pretty prestigious area is what I'm thinking. And maybe it's land value. Maybe the value of the land is $1 million. I don't know. So I'm going to dig into it a little bit more. Okay, so now what I'm seeing is I'm looking at the history, and you can see that it was originally listed in 2023, it says for $990,000. So now they have not done a price reduction since they went on the market. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at the description and see what that says. So your dream ranch nestled on a stunning acre property where tranquility meets timeless elegance. Pretty basic. It doesn't talk about anything that makes it super, super unique. So I'm still not feeling like this is maybe the right price. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and I'm going to look at some of the other homes in the area. Okay, so I just spent a long time trying to figure out how to find this. Sometimes I get a little screwed up with the maps when I'm looking on Zillow, so I have to do it a couple different ways. But what I'm going to show you here is I've got all the homes for sale kind of in this area. And you're going to see in this area, you've got some multi-million dollar homes, right? So this is a very prestigious area. So this house right here, you can see is next to a house that's for sale pretty much for $7 million. So let's take a look at that house for $7 million. Of course, they're not the same, but I'm going to guess that this house is on about an acre. So if we look to see how big this lot is, of an acre lot. Okay, so now what I'm getting into seeing is that the people who live here, they're selling their house for property because they think somebody's going to build on it. Now, the difference is that when you look here, this is a busier road right here. And so somebody is going to pay less because it's on a busier road. This house in here is on a street. So while it's sort of on that road, it's not exactly on the road. Also, what you need to be thinking about is while your property might be worth something like that, there may not be anybody who's looking to build at that moment. And it just might not be something that they want to do because it might be 2 years out before they can get into their house. So now what I want to do is I want to kind of look at some other properties and see if that is the value is what they're looking at for their land. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into the sold properties and I'm going to look at some of the homes that have sold in this area. Now, I can see that there's a property right here that sold for $630. So when I'm looking at this property, I'm seeing that it's 0.86 acres. The other one is 0.9 acres. Now, most likely this one also sold to be built upon. So I'm now seeing that 630 is a comp to that piece of property. Now there's also one kind of across the street here that has sold as well, and it closed for $840. Now when we look at this property though, we can see that the house is bigger. I don't know if I'd necessarily consider it much better, but it's going to be bigger. So I'm going to say that this might have sold for land, maybe, or a rehab, but there's a little bit more to work with there. So now when I'm looking at this description, it's saying that it's 3,700 square feet. It looks like it's $840 that it was closed for, which is also a bigger house and it's a lesser of a piece of property. But probably what they're thinking is it's on the same semi-busy street. And so probably what these sellers are thinking, well, then our house is worth that as well. Now, the difference in this property is that it was listed a year prior to now, which the market may be different for somebody who maybe wants that type of house or who wants to move, the inventory, things like that. I can see why the owners might think that their property is worth more because they have a bigger piece of land. And when an agent is talking to a seller, it's very, very hard to explain to a seller why their price is too high if they don't really get it. Because there's kind of a difference in explaining to you as sellers what the price is worth versus having sellers understand it. And I talk a lot about this is, the videos that I'm doing are helping you to understand, this is not rocket science. What I'm doing here is not rocket science. You do not need a degree to go in and look at Zillow and analyze comps. But what you need to understand is that you may not understand the market as well as somebody who's in it all day long. And what I'm going to think that the sellers are having an issue with is basically two things. One is, what is the appraised value? And two, what is the market value? Now, there may be comps that they believe are accurate. Like, they probably can appraise in the 900s. That's what I'm thinking. Now, there might be some extenuating circumstances that I'm not real sure about, but because nobody has bought this house, I can say that the market is just not there. Okay, because if the market was there, a buyer would pay for it. But a buyer is seeing the same things that we're seeing, as saying, that piece of property is probably not worth it. Now, when you have a piece of property that's unique, this is unique. It seems like if you buy this property, you could build a multi-million dollar home on it. You've got an issue where you're on a busier road. So somebody who can afford to build a $3, $4, $5 million home is not necessarily going to want it to be on a busier street. So you have to take that into consideration, that people who have that kind of money, they don't necessarily have to sacrifice. It's not like they're trying to cheap it out and say, I can get this piece of property for $200,000 less than if it were on an interior street. They're not seeing that. So the appraised value and the market value are two different things. And if the market is not bringing you an offer, it's telling you your value is not what you think it is. So now what I'm going to do is, I have, like I said, access to the back end of this because this is in my MLS. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to see a little bit deeper of a dive on my market evaluation and see if my thoughts about this house are actually correct. Okay, so when I go into this house, I can see that it has been on the market. Let's see, it expired in 2018 and they did price it as land. You can see that. So 2018, and then they put it back up on the market in 2023. And that was with, it looks like the same agent. They're still labeling it as both land and a home. And then, 7 months later, they relisted it as new, which you can do in the Chicagoland market. I don't know if you can do this in other parts of the country. Agents, if you're watching, let me know if this is something that you can do. So what you do is you kind of trick the market into thinking it's a new listing for people who are just starting to look. But this was relisted as new, and then it was relisted as new again. The price did not change at all. Now, we are continuing to go into years on the market, and we still have the same list agent. Now, here's the thing. Is that, if that were my listing, I'd take it off the market, because I've had agents that I've referred out to people, to sellers, and the seller will say to me, that agent has had that house on the market for like 2 years. I don't want to use that agent. So some agents are thinking, it's great just to have your name out there, but the buyers and the sellers are seeing that your name is on it, and it really, really does take a toll. So I don't think it's great for one agent to have held it for this long, because in my perspective, the seller is not really serious. If they were serious, they would be pricing it correctly. So my guess is they're just holding out for that price. And in the meantime, the agent isn't looking fantastic because the sellers down the street think that it's them, but in reality, it's probably the sellers. So now I can see that this is 0.91 acres. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full look at kind of what land in this area has sold for. So I'm looking to see what is sold in the grade school in the last 6 months and just kind of see what comes up, because anybody who's looking kind of in this area would be looking for this grade school. First, I'm going to start with the land. You've got 0.91, here's ours. Then you go up to 1.5, that's active. You go up to 3 acres, 2.58 acres, 2.8. Here's somebody who's trying to sell for 0.88. So now if I take this back for, let's say, 24 months, I can see all the land that is sold in the last 24 months, and I can see it by acreage. So let me just sort by acreage here. So you're going to be able to see that the last thing that's a comp in this district for land was 1.02, and that sold for $750. Now you also have this 1.34 acres that sold for $650. So I am not seeing anything that would put that parcel at 0.91 higher. So it most likely isn't going to appraise, which means that the appraisal price is higher than this list price. In addition, it's not going to have the market value. Nobody's come in and said they're willing to pay for this house. And there is a lot of other inventory right now on in this market that is going to be competitive for somebody else. And because this is a little bit busier street, I think they're going to be sitting on this a very long time. I know you guys tell me that you love when I go through these pictures, these Zillow pictures, and talk to you about, what's good, what's bad, what pictures look great, what looks weird. And to that end, I want to give you a couple of free resources that I have for you. I am all about making sure that you are able to sell your home for the most amount of money, stress-free. Truly, truly, that is a passion of mine. That is why I get up every day and do what I do. And I've created my seller's playbook. Some of you have it. I updated it in December. So if you downloaded it before December, you probably need to re-download it again. It's a 42-page free ebook that tells you the 5 things you need to really understand in order to sell your home for the most amount of money. And it talks about how to plan, first of all, which is super important, what to update. So in there, it's going... Was that like a fighter plane? That was pretty crazy. I don't know what that was. So the second thing in my seller's playbook is all about updates. And in that, I tell you which updates are going to get you your money back. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that you over improve your house and then you can't sell it and then you actually lose money. I hate seeing that. And that's how the seller's playbook all started, was with my updates. The third is about staging. It's going to give you paint colors. It's going to give you things you need to do to get your home ready to sell. Everything about fake it, take it, make it, which I talk about a lot in my videos. The fourth thing is about pricing. You guys know I am all about the correct pricing. It can make you tens and thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, or it can cost you, I've seen it, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the last thing is about choosing an agent. And it gives you all the questions that you need to be able to ask an agent. Now, what I really talk about when I want you choosing an agent is your agent going to put your profit over their commission? That is the bottom line. It's very, very hard to tell that. In my playbook, I've got a lot of questions. I got some guidelines about that. But also, as you guys know, if you are struggling, if you're stuck, you can go ahead and ask me for an agent. And I personally am vetting out all of these agents that we refer. We do not allow any agents into our network. You can imagine all the agents who reach out to me all the time asking if I will refer them. And the first thing I'll say to them, well, is how many deals have you done? And, for us, we don't like to refer out anybody who's done less than 150 deals in the last 5 years. So that is kind of a rule of thumb for you guys as well. It's kind of what you want to be looking at. Now, if the price point is higher, if you're in the millions, you might be looking at maybe 100 deals in the last 5 years. But my goal is really to put you in front of 2 to 3 agents that are super, super successful. They've got a lot of transactions. They know what they're doing. So we do this. We vet everybody out. We look at everything for you, and we work with you to get to the decision in who you are choosing. So you have access to me, my phone, my texts, my emails. In addition, you can also be a part of our Facebook group where I am talking to you guys one-on-one. You're uploading your pictures. So like I said, these are all free resources to you. And if you are thinking about selling somewhere in the future, I want to make sure that you are just kind of locking into me. Make sure that you are using me to help you. Even if you're not downloading my seller's playbook or joining our Facebook group or asking me for an agent, this is truly my passion, is to help people really understand the real estate industry and to understand which agents are good and which ones might not be so good. So this next house I'm going to review, I'm not real sure what is going on with this house. I did kind of a preliminary look at it, but I want to walk through this with you and just kind of show you how I get to it. I don't know exactly. I'm not real sure. I mean, of course, you guys know I can always say price is the reason a home doesn't sell, but I want to look through this one a little bit. So this one is $999,000. It's in Florida, 4,300 square feet. And when I'm looking at the pictures, the picture quality is pretty good. I'm feeling like quality is pretty good. The house is staged. I'm going to say it's definitely staged. There's not a lot of anything that's personal in there, which is fine. It just makes it very generic. I'm going to guess that these were probably original. They might have brought in some additional staging as well. You've got a lot of, woodwork in here, which I'm not opposed to either. You've got some really nice, those look like real hardwood in Florida. I mean, that's rare. That could be good. That could be bad. People would like that. People might not like it, but that's not a reason the home hasn't sold. So this is a really nice room that is overlooking a river. Okay, now, when I'm getting into this kitchen, and I'm looking at this kitchen, I'm seeing that these cabinets are probably not terrible. And I think that they put in a granite countertop, which is one of my least favorite updates, as you guys know. You can check it out in my seller's playbook. But what makes this kitchen super dated is this light right here. Like, they truly would have benefited just by taking that down, because I think that dates the kitchen probably more than it really should be. I mean, they put these kind of trendy lights in here, but this lighting is super, super dated, you know, and this is just not fantastic either. So again, you've got this cooktop right in the middle of this island, which people do not like, especially people with children, because they think, oh, I'm going to put my kid in a chair and then they're going to burn themselves on the stove. But you can see now this looks pretty narrow there. I don't understand. Well, okay, this is actually a really good example. This is this picture here, but when you get to this picture here, it makes it look super narrow. Like, that is not indicative of this room at all, is it? It's much wider here. So I don't love this picture at all, because I think this picture makes it look more like a galley kitchen. I would take this picture completely out. See, and this makes it look much bigger as well. Again, that picture, I think, is really hurting this kitchen. Now, I mean, the kitchen is older. Somebody's probably going to want to redo it. I mean, these are all fine pictures. The photos look pretty good. Fun bar there, kind of like maybe a, you know, a retreat home, nice big bedroom. The carpet is maybe a little older, but I wouldn't necessarily replace that. I mean, it is what it is. You've got a lot of dark woodwork there. If you painted that, I don't think that would necessarily help it sell either, because now you're getting into the bathroom and you're looking at the master bathroom, and I mean, it's dated too. So now you've got kitchens and you've got bathrooms that need to be replaced. This is a fantastic room. I love this. This is really awesome. Hot tub there. I mean, this is a nice, comfortable home, definitely. That's super dated. I mean, I guess this is the master. I mean, it's just everything in this room. I mean, everything in this house just needs to be redone. But look at this. I love this. This is really neat. So for somebody who wants this location, this is absolutely fantastic. So now, like we're seeing in the last home, you can see that my guess is the sellers believe that they have got this amazing, amazing location that just is going to get them this high amount of money for the home. That's fine. If you want to keep the house on the market, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're trying to actually sell, like you are actively showing the home, keeping it clean, talking to your agent, then this is really just not going to work. So I have people who are calling me every single day to talk about their house. If you have a house like this and you're putting it on the market just to kind of test the market, well, then you can't blame your agent if you're thinking the price is too high, because if the home is not selling, the price is always too high. Okay, I can tell you that right now, because both of these homes that I've shown you, if you put $1 on each of these homes, they're both going to sell. And you're going to say, well, of course they're going to sell. But that's what I'm trying to say. So even if you reduced each of them by $500,000, they're going to sell. So everything will always sell if you reduce the price. I know you guys are going to be like, but we don't want to lose that much money. The market is going to dictate what you are going to make on your house. And that's why you need to absolutely know how much your home is worth. You have to be talking to a couple of agents. You have to educate yourself on the market. You have to subscribe to this channel and make sure that you are getting updated on what is the market doing. How are these buyers looking at homes? Because you are seeing what you see from your perspective. And both of these homeowners are probably seeing from their perspective that they have amazing opportunities for people. But when you have something like that and your price is really high, you narrow your market down quite a bit. So now let me dig into this and kind of see if I'm right in my guess on, is this property just too high for what it's offering? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at all the homes that are for sale. So it's an 1.5 acre riverfront paradise. Totally agree. I mean, what a fantastic location. Nice big house, riverfront home, open floor plan. I mean, this is just, you know, a really great home that they're talking about. Custom built, magnificent home, includes many features, freshly painted, new carpet, huge bonus room. The problem is that it's very, very dated. So this category of my home, I'm going to call this absolutely unpolished potential, which is my favorite category. Again, it's in my seller's playbook. Your home can be one of 5 categories. Unpolished potential means that it's really, really well taken care of, and it's like a canvas ready, waiting for you. And so when you can find an unpolished potential, those are the best, because you can tell that the people probably have taken very, very good care of this home over the course of its life. So either the market's really bad in this location or they are just truly overpriced, because if nobody's looking to buy, then this home isn't going to be bought. But this really, gosh, I really do like this home. But let's keep going. So you can, lots of great information about this. It's been on the market for 391 days. So it's been on over a year, which has got to be painful to have people coming in and looking at this house. So let me look at the price history on this. Okay, well, this is something that I can really see and dig in on, which is a little painful too. So in 2022, when the market was a little bit better, during COVID, when people were like just needing to get away, it was listed for 1.2 million. And you can see then they brought it down to 1.15, and then it did go under contract within 2 months of it going on the market in 2022. And that was over $1 million. And then it went pending, but then it looks like it fell out of contract. And so it went back up on the market. So now they've sort of been riding the market down ever since. So they took the market off for one day and then they relisted it as new, it looks like. And then they did another price change. And then about 6 months ago, they went under $1 million, which should have brought them into a new price point. The problem is this is a Florida house and the Florida market is a little soft right now. So there are not as many people who are moving into Florida to see second homes or vacation homes or things like this. So these people unfortunately have been riding the market down. Now, when you're riding the market down, if you're in that situation like the seller, you need to get under the market. And they almost did, it looks like, when they went under $1 million. But at this point, in order to be under the market, they probably need to get to $899. Now, I'm not totally sure, but this is my gut. I'm going to go through this a little bit further. Let me look at the comps that Zillow says. They're saying that this is 1.1 acres, sold for $273,000. Oh, there's not much, but this is off the market. So that might be kind of interesting to look at because that sold for $784. Now that also looks like it's on the water. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,900 square feet. That's going to be a little bit smaller, but I'm going to have to pull up these other pictures on another site for you to see. Sometimes Zillow does take all of its pictures off, but Realtor leaves them up for some odd reason. I'm not sure why. So if Zillow doesn't have the pictures, I'll do another search and I'll see if I can find them. So just looking at these photos, this is gated. It's kind of this, the tile roof there. It's got a little bit more of a style to it. It's got that fountain. It's got a lot of fountains. It's got a lot of fountains. I mean, come on. Okay, now this is dated. You can see on the inside with this tile. What is this? Is this carpet? I guess that's carpet. That's super dated. This is kind of a neat house too, right? Like this has a lot of potential too. I mean, this looks like it might be one of my unpolished potentials as well. Kitchen needs to be redone. Now, I don't know exactly where this is in relationship to the one that I just showed you. I'm going to kind of dig into that a little bit. I mean, that's not a great picture. I mean, everything in this house needs to be redone. So now I am assuming that this has a great location. I'm thinking, but they've got a lot of pictures before they get to the great pictures of they've got a pool. They got a great pool there. I mean, the selling point of this home is definitely the pool, the location. A lot of pictures of the pool, the gazebo. And I think we're on picture 45 of 752. No, really. But now you can see it's on the water there as well. I don't know. That water doesn't look as nice as the other one though. But that's still pretty nice. I mean, this has got a lot to offer here. I don't know. That kind of water looks like there's an alligator in it to me. I don't know. You can tell I'm from Illinois. I think there are alligators everywhere. So, I mean, look at how many pictures there are here. That house has a lot to offer. Now, I didn't even see this picture in that grouping, but so this house was sold in 2018. So, I mean, this isn't even a real good comp. So what I didn't do here, which I forgot to show you guys, was to look, and you can sort when you go to sold. That one, remember, just pulled up as a comp. Zillow said that was a comp. You can go and pull up solds, and you can pull up sold in the last, and I would pull the last 24 months. So that was an issue because now that was from 2018 and that's not a great comp, but I did show you all that. So I just wanted to go through that. So let me find you some good comps that could kind of compare to this. Okay, so now you can see that some of these are comps that were, because the other house was in here. Now, when I'm just looking right now, I'm not seeing anything pop up at me. So what I'm going to look at are things that put it on in a great location, which would be on that river. I'm not seeing anything on that river really that's sold for very high. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of back it out and see what the highest in this whole area is. Oh boy. So I'm not seeing anything in this area that's sold for very high either. I mean, you've got a five, well, so this is commercial. That doesn't really count. So now you've got 1.1 million. And this is a newer home. Let's just go through it real quick and see. I mean, it's a newer home, not as good of a location. So what they're looking for, these sellers, is they're looking for somebody that really, really loves this location, which is totally fine. You can keep it on the market and wait. But the real issue is there's just fewer people that are looking for that type of home. So let me look in the last 12 months and just see if I can find anything else that's somewhat competitive as far as location. I'm not really seeing anything that's location-wise going to be a fit. I mean, this is land, it looks like, but it's just not. I mean, that one has a pool. It's dated. What this is telling me is that the market is not good in this area. And I can especially tell if I go and I look at everything that's for sale in this area. And you can see there's a lot for sale in this area. So now, I mean, I've kind of saying, listen, the price is just too high. It's hard to think about what the price really needs to be. But if these people have to sell, they have to start getting under the market. So like we can look at this house. This is like in a good location, right? It's on that lake, that little pond there. Let's look at the quality of the home. I mean, it's kind of like a log cabin front with a nice back. It's a little bit newer. They obviously like their house and their location. I mean, this is not as dated. I mean, you have to like this look as well. But here's the thing is this one is selling for, you know, $1.2 million. It's a little smaller, but it's a little newer. So it's going to be very hard to figure out exactly how much this house is worth. Now you can see when I'm searching kind of this gigantic area, it's one of the most expensive houses. I mean, there's only 4 homes that are higher than that house in that market. You know, this house is great. I love this house. I think this would be a great option for somebody to purchase. If you guys want to know the address of this house, just let me know, because maybe it's a great home for you. I think it's got a lot of potential. It obviously looks like it's in great condition. It's priced a little too high. It's a diamond in the rough, I feel. And so is it worth less than this? It might not be as far as what you can get for it. It just depends on, you know, what's going on in the seller's mind, the agent's mind. But I do love this house. This one's going to stay in my mind on a house that I think might be a good buy. So I know you guys love when I kind of go into this and talk about these homes, and I want to make sure that you, again, are getting all my free resources. If you're on Facebook, make sure you join our Facebook group. We have a great community of people there who are nice and encouraging and inspiring because they post their own photos and they're asking for their opinions on what they should do with their home. Should they paint? Should they update? And I like being a part of that because I think our community is just pretty kind and caring and nice and warm. And so people put themselves out there and are vulnerable. And I think our group responds pretty well. So I want to make sure that you guys are here, whatever I post. Subscribe, like, make sure you download our Seller's Playbook and join our Facebook group today.